All right, let's dive into something potentially really disruptive today. We're exploring this concept that could, fundamentally reshape how we think about apps in the crypto space. Our source here is the Warden Manifesto, and it points out what they see as a core problem. Basically, that current blockchain applications are rigid and unfairly limited by their determinism, which, well, just makes them feel kind of unintelligent, doesn't it? And this manifesto, it actually started as just an internal memo, believe it or not, but it's turned into this bold statement that AI isn't just like a feature, it's an inevitability for every application. And Warden, they aim to break open a new design space for genuinely intelligent crypto apps.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is the sheer scale of the problem they're tackling. I mean, we're talking over 600 million smart contracts out there right now, and despite the name smart, they're actually pretty, well, dumb. They just follow rules. And that rigidity, it really is holding back applications from doing more dynamic, useful things. You hear a lot about getting AI on-chain right, but most attempts so far, pretty surface level, often more about buzzwords than breakthroughs, unfortunately. So our mission today really is to understand how Warden plans to, like, 10x the application design space and what these intelligent applications could actually mean for you, the listener.
That's a huge goal. So, okay, how exactly does Warden plan to create these intelligent applications? They define them as systems that break free from rigid constraints, letting developers, fully express ideas and tap into decades of established software development. The core idea seems to be this verifiable AI-native blockchain, where models are open to anyone, anywhere, and critically, their outputs can directly power these smarter apps. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me. There are three design principles. First, anything. So seamless on-chain and off-chain operation. Second, anyone opening it up to devs on Cosmos, Ethereum, Solana, basically everywhere.
Right, broadening the pool massively.
Exactly. And third, anywhere, meaning it's chain agnostic, accessible universally.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, intelligent applications, they're a really profound shift. Think about it. Smart contracts that don't just follow static code, but can seamlessly integrate AI, or really any off-chain logic, to reason, adapt, interact fluidly with the real world, On-chain, off-chain, doesn't matter. It's such a contrast to those traditional contracts bound by static logic. By moving past that, these intelligent applications can unlock, well, richer, more expressive, and dynamic user experiences. Software that doesn't just execute, but actually understands and responds. Big difference.
Okay, so that's the vision. How do they actually make it work technically? Under the hood, Warden talks about a dual solution. For developers, there's the Warden protocol. They call it a full-stack, purpose-built blockchain, specifically for creating these intelligent applications. And then for us, the users, there's the Warden App, described as free, private, and uncensored AI, letting anyone use voice or chat for, well, anything in crypto. Yeah. And apparently it's already got some serious traction, nearly 2 million users, they say.
Yeah, that's quite a user base already. So digging into the tech stack, it's built on three main layers. First up is the blockchain layer, the Warden chain itself. And this isn't just another generic chain, it's purpose-built. Its unique trick is allowing any arbitrary AVR response on-chain, right within a smart contract or app, which is quite something. So smart contracts on Warden can securely get any kind of external data or AI output, not just numbers, but complex stuff, decisions, text, directly onto the chain and then act on it. And what's cool is that developers, they call them AVR authors, can build, publish, and monetize these AVRs. And the network validators earn by running and verifying them. So there's an incentive structure.
Okay, so the chain handles receiving this external data, but how do you trust it? That seems like the key challenge.
Exactly. And that brings us to the second layer, the verifiability layer. This is where their core innovation comes in. Specs, statistical proof of execution. You can sort of think of specs like a cryptographic bouncer or maybe a smart firewall. It uses some clever math to verify AVR responses, making sure they're legit. And this is absolutely vital because, like the manifesto says, unverified inferences are a rug waiting to happen.
Right. If you can't trust the AI's output, the whole thing falls apart.
Precisely. So Specs is designed for extremely low overhead, and here's how it compares to other methods. They claim it's 1000x faster and cheaper than ZKMLs.
Wow, ZKMLs being zero-knowledge machine learning.
That's right. Very secure, but often slow and costly. Specs is also significantly simpler than OPML for consensus. That's optimistic machine learning, which can have delays. And importantly, unlike T's trusted execution environments, Specs requires no dedicated hardware, no special chips needed.
So no vendor lock-in with hardware.
Exactly. You get provable security, without the ZK bottlenecks, TE lock-ins, or optimistic guesswork. Basically checks if the outputs are accurate and confident enough before the chain accepts them.
Okay, blockchain layer, verifiability layer. What's the third one?
The third is the application layer. This layer provides a complete developer platform, and its whole goal is to stop AI from being stuck in 2024 as just playthings, gimmicks, and chatbots.
Moving beyond the hype.
Right, so developers get access to two smart contract platforms, EVM and CosmWasm, gives them flexibility. It also includes custom infrastructure for AI-specific needs, things like automated smart contract invocations, scheduling, data feeds, all the plumbing you need to make AI work smoothly on-chain. And, crucially, there are interoperability tools designed to make the underlying blockchain invisible. So for you, the user, this means you can access AVRs from anywhere and interact seamlessly with these intelligent apps without worrying about, cross-chain bridges, different funds, gas fees, multiple accounts. It should just work.
That sounds like the dream for user experience, really. You mentioned AVRs earlier, asynchronous verifiable resources. Let's break this down a bit more. What are they exactly? The manifesto uses this analogy, like plugins, add-ons, or extensions for Google Sheets. How does that work in crypto?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually. At their core, AVRs are like these specialized little agents or APIs. Their job is to let smart contracts read from and write to the world on-chain or off-chain. So imagine a smart contract needs real-time weather data for insurance. An AVR could fetch that. Or maybe it needs an AI model's prediction about market sentiment. AVR does it.
Okay, so reading from the outside world.
Right, but also writing to it. Maybe a contract needs to trigger a PayPal payment.
Seriously, like actually initiate a real-world payment.
That's the idea. Or mint an NFT on OpenSea, or even place an order on Amazon. An AVR acts as that verifiable bridge between the deterministic smart contract world and the messy, dynamic off-chain world.
That sounds incredibly powerful, almost too powerful.
Yeah.
Are there trade-offs, security concerns with, letting contracts order things on Amazon?
Well, that's a great point. And the absolute key, again, is verifiability and security. That's Espec's job. Without that secure verification of what the AVR is doing and reporting, you absolutely couldn't trust those off-chain actions.
Makes sense.
But assuming you have that secure bridge, the benefits they list for AVRs are pretty compelling. One is incentivized self-service. The folks who build these AVRs, the authors get paid when they're used. And the validator's running the network profit too, so it creates a marketplace.
Okay, so it encourages people to build useful ones.
Exactly. Then there's endless customization with little coding. Apparently sometimes just 10 lines of code can create something quite useful. They're simple, yet powerful. They can handle small tasks or really complex, long-running asynchronous AVRs, like for deep learning models such as DeepSeek. And you can mix and match them, build complex apps by combining different AVR functions. So reading from off-chain could be AI outputs, like we said, and writing to off-chain could literally be PayPal payments, Amazon orders, or placing a trade on a centralized exchange.
Wow.
It really opens up this whole new design space. Imagine Web 2 apps potentially moving on-chain, like blogs or media sites getting permanent hosting, censorship resistance, or job platforms with automatically enforced payment via smart contracts and escrow. Even identity systems built around true self-sovereign identity principles.
That really does shift the paradigm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Warden follows this builders for builders philosophy. They want real-world apps with real users. Let's look at some examples they give, current and future. First, crypto super apps. The Warden app itself is their main example here. It aims to make DeFi incredibly easy, using chat or voice commands for complex stuff like cross-chain transactions, portfolio management, or risk assessments. They see it as the first of an upcoming wave of agentic interfaces, basically AI interfaces for crypto.
Right, making complex actions simple through natural language.
Exactly. Then there's this idea of smart agents. The manifesto argues that true on-chain agents don't really exist yet. A lot of what people call agents are off-chain, which makes them potentially broken, meaning they could be ruggable or have serious private key risks.
Yeah, if the agent logic and keys are off-chain, who really controls it?
Right, so Warden's vision is for agents that are actually smart contracts managed on-chain, giving them real sovereignty and autonomy. They're even planning this thing called Warden Buffett, launching H2 2025. It's meant to be a reference trading agent. And get this, the first truly autonomous profit-generating entity that lives on-chain.
So it manages its own capital and trades without needing human input.
That seems to be the goal, a fully autonomous economic agent on the blockchain.
Interesting. And the third area mentioned?
The third big one is intelligent custody. The idea is that AI will fundamentally reshape how we handle custody, enabling things like personalization, intelligent portfolio optimizations, even dynamic risk management systems to help prevent exposure to hacks. They've actually got a project, Spaceward, spinning out to focus on this. It's described as an omnichain safe, like a multi-signature wallet but across many chains enhanced with AI.
This really does raise the question, what other completely new kinds of applications become possible? When you combine AI with this verifiable blockchain infrastructure, the manifesto touches on a few possibilities. Things like highly personalized DeFi, where AI tailors advice and strategies just for you, or intent parsing applications, you just say what you want to do in plain English, and it figures out the complex on-chain steps. Much more intuitive.
Making crypto less intimidating.
Exactly. They also mention model training using Warden, maybe as a coordination layer, and even DAO governance, potentially using AI agents to help manage decentralized organizations, making them maybe more efficient.
It's a very ambitious roadmap, and it seems backed by a pretty heavyweight team. The manifesto describes them as experienced builders from crypto, AI, and the tech space. People who've collectively raised over $50 million, launched tokens, scaled big crypto platforms, even Web2 businesses. They list names like David Pinger, ex-Binance, ex-Uber, Dr. Mikhail Delakiza, ex-Google, ex-NASA.
That's quite the background.
Right. Antonio Patasi from Ignite Tendermint. Josh Goodbody, ex-Binance, ex-Huobi. Luis Viello, also ex-Binance, ex-Bitnovo. It's a serious lineup.
Definitely sounds like they have the experience. What about the timeline? Where are they now?
So the plan is mainnet launch in Q3 2025. But they stress this isn't just an idea on paper. They're already nearly 2 million users deep with the Warden App.
Right. They mentioned that traction earlier.
Yeah. And all the core infrastructure, the blockchain, verification, application layers are apparently live, hardened over 3 testnets, and audited. Plus, the team's fully staffed, and they have funding secured until Q1 2026. Before mainnet, key goals are growing the Warden App further, launching Warden Studio, which is meant to be an open marketplace for community-authored AVRs. They say 20-plus are already onboarded.
Fostering that ecosystem you mentioned.
Exactly, and continuing to develop that on-chain agent framework.
Okay, so if we zoom out and look at the broader crypto X AI market, how does Warden position itself? Where's their unique edge? I mean, the demand is clearly there. You've got, what, over 637 million smart contracts today? Potentially a $5 trillion market by 2030. And AI has huge mindshare, 37%, they estimate. Warden seems to differentiate itself in a few key ways. First, they emphasize being purpose-built rather than retrofitted AI chains. So unlike maybe Near or ICP, which pivoted or added AI focus later, Warden claims it was designed from the ground up for AI and off-chain data. It wasn't an add-on.
Built specifically for this job.
Right. Second, they handle any off-chain data, not just AI inferences. While other projects might focus solely on verifying the output of an AI model, Warden aims to capture value across the entire lifecycle, from sourcing the data or inference, verifying it, deploying the app, using it, all the way to the user fees generated. It's a broader scope.
Covering the whole process.
Third is their focus on on-chain agents versus off-chain agents. Because Warden agents are embodied by smart contracts, they become discoverable, queryable, and easily coordinated all on-chain. That's very different from typical off-chain agent systems, which can be opaque, centralized, and lack that verifiable autonomy.
Bringing the agent logic onto the blockchain itself.
Exactly. And finally, their verification method, sampling-based verification using specs versus traditional verification methods. They argue specs overcomes limitations found in ZK proofs, TEs, and optimistic ML limits that can make those other methods impractical or prohibitive for heavy AI workloads on-chain. So Warden's approach with specs is aimed squarely at breaking through those bottlenecks for AI and complex off-chain data.
Okay, so this deep dive into Warden and their vision for intelligent applications, it really paints a picture of a major potential shift. Moving away from these relatively dumb, smart contracts we have now, towards intelligent, adaptive systems really powered by AI, but living securely on the blockchain. It feels like unlocking a whole new layer of capability, a new kind of user experience. So maybe something for you to think about as you go about your day. Consider your everyday digital life, shopping online, social media, whatever it is. How might those interactions change if the apps underneath could do more than just process your clicks? What if they could intelligently anticipate your needs, adapt in real time, reason across both the web we know and these decentralized networks, and do it all with verifiable security? What kind of truly groundbreaking possibilities does that open up for you?